This is a comparative study between One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Pleasantville. Texts explore similar themes across different media modes by using the unique features of each medium to convey the same underlying ideas, albeit in varied forms. Ken Kesey wrote the 1962 book One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Kesey accepted a job in a mental institution because of his fascination with altered consciousnesses. Pleasantville is a movie directed in 1998. It was a commentary of the idyllic 50s era. The first intertextual concept I've based my study around is the idea of conformity versus individuality. First is shown in this quote. This quote reflects McMurphy's determination and defiance against the institution. It captures his struggle to maintain his individuality in the face of overwhelming pressure to conform. Kesey utilizes colloquial language and epiphora to reveal McMurphy's raw emotions and inner conflict. By repeating I, McMurphy asserts their individuality, even in the face of defeat. The second quote is a metaphor that likens the morgue to a factory, emphasizing the dehumanizing and conformist nature of the institution. It criticizes how societal institutions enforce conformity and suppress individuality. The use of dystopian imagery paints the world as a place that strips away personal identity and autonomy, reducing individuals to mere cogs in a machine. This quote highlights the oppressive nature of institutions and their role in erasing individuality, which is central to the novel's critique of societal norms and structures. As opposed to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where conformity is depicted in a negative sense, Pleasantville communicates this theme in a positive light through the use of modern ideologies. Jennifer's introduction of modern literature and ideas challenges the town's conformist norms. Her actions symbolize the infusion of individuality and critical thinking into a repressive society. The contrast between the town's traditional values and Jennifer's modern influences highlights the transformative power of new ideas. This scene demonstrates how individuality can disrupt and challenge societal conformity, encouraging personal growth and liberation. The next scene is the courtroom scene where the townspeople stand up against repression, which highlights the collective resistance against authoritarian control. The townspeople's stand symbolizes the assertion of individual rights and the rejection of oppressive conformity. Through dialogue and dramatic tension, the scene captures the growing sense of community and solidarity among the townspeople as they fight for their individuality. The next main idea in the two works is gender roles and sexuality. The techniques used in this quote reference dramatic irony, as the patients find themselves coming up with excuses to blame everything but themselves, in an act to hide their insecurity in their assigned gender role within the hospital. This can be seen through patients lashing out as they are insecure about the conformity of women having a higher social standpoint within their context. In the next quote from the start of the book, without any previous context, the reader is made aware of the primitive sexualization of the female staff, as shown in this quote. Nurse Ratched is reduced to an object, her value tied to just her physical appearance. However, Chief Bromden could be considered an unreliable narrator, as his paranoia and fear may distort his perception of Ratched, amplifying her coldness and mechanical nature. This unreliable narration adds depth to the critique, highlighting how deeply ingrained these societal norms are, even in those who are oppressed by them. In the scene from Pleasantville, George comes home to a furnished but ironically dark and empty home, which is something entirely out of the ordinary for him. And the use of lighting in the scene is quite important as he showcases how alone he truly is, even though he's in a fully furnished home. The way his body is positioned in this camera shot is indicative to alienation. His body is dimly lit in the room where the opacity of everything else is quite low, which shows he isn't in touch with the things he's usually familiar with: a dinner table with food, a wife, and a happy family. The apple scene where Margaret entices David to eat the apple is a biblical allusion to the story of the Garden of Eden, where the devil is disguised as a snake and is tempting Eve to be impure. Her temptation is a manifestation of her impurity. This translated into Pleasantville, as Margaret is offering David the apple, which is symbolic of knowledge. In regards to sexuality and gender roles, this is a breach of the standardized gender roles, as women in the society in which Pleasantville takes place have a submissive role, as men are the breadwinners and women are the homemakers. Similarly, in the Garden of Eden, Eve is connotated in a similar manner, where she is depicted as emotionally weak and submissive to change, hence her temptation. In this specific scene, Margaret is fighting against the gender norms that have been set by society by taking the dominant role over David and instead tempting him to take the apple and convert it into color. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Pleasantville explore similar themes of conformity, individuality, and gender roles through the distinct features of their respective media. Kesey's novel uses vivid language and character insights to challenge social oppression, while Pleasantville employs visual and cinematic techniques to critique traditional values. By leveraging both mediums, both texts can convey their main themes, demonstrating that different media can explore the same things in unique and impactful ways. Thank you very much.